Hello everybody, welcome to today's editorial class. The topic that we will be discussing today is artificial intelligence. Now, first of all, we need to understand here what we already know about artificial intelligence. We already know its definition, its application. It has been already covered in various articles in our classes also, its advantages, its disadvantages. But today's article, it highlights new aspect of artificial intelligence, specifically in the context of something that is called as social stratification. The essay can be of very much essence with respect to your essay, like if UPSC asks that artificial intelligence and social stratification, or how artificial intelligence can complicate the system of social stratification in our society. In this context, we need to understand what the article is talking about, and it has used some theoretical perspectives also, like British sociologists is there, structuralism is there, post-structuralism is there. So we will carefully understand what the article is talking about. See, first of all, what the article states that we will be discussing here. Just give me a second. The article states that, see, all the societies of the world have some sort of what we call as social stratification. Social stratification, so we need to understand first of all what is the meaning of social stratification here. Social stratification is essentially basically how the systems or how the countries are divided into various layers. So earlier, if we talk about erstwhile societies, basically the societies that were pre-modern or traditional in nature, social stratification was not on the basis of merit. Rather, it was on the basis of what we call as, that is, ascribed status. Ascribed status means something that is defined by birth. For example, like we have in our caste society, the things were basically defined on the basis of birth, on the basis of hereditary notion. So that was how societies were divided. When we came into modern society, this ascribed status changed into what is called as merit, and the phenomena that we call it today is meritocracy. So it essentially, what the author tries to do here is criticize the idea of meritocracy. How? See, what the author tries to say here, that its impact on essentially society, and he has used the views of various theoretical perspectives, starting with the sociologist perspective. He states that, see, there was a British sociologist named Young, and he was critical of meritocracy, and what he stated that in his book The Rise of Meritocracy, he stated that in 2034 basically a society would be created where social class and social mobility will be determined on the basis of what we call as is intelligence, effort, skill or talent or your capability. In essentially it means that he wrote his book in 1958 that in next 70 to 80 years we will be leading towards a society where if you want to get a high position in society, if you want to improve your status in society, the basis for that, if you jump from lower section to the higher section of the society, it will be, in majority of the cases, it will be determined by merit. And by merit he means that is your talent, your skill or your capabilities. But he is very much critical of the idea. Why? Because he states that this emerging trend would lead to a new form of what is called as social stratification. Earlier basically some society was divided on the basis of ascribed status, but now in the emerging society merit will be used as a mechanism to divide the people basically, or to create different sections of the society. And how meritocracy will lead to what we say new form of social stratification, that is what we need to discuss here. The article states that, see, he states that basically meritocracy fosters a sense of enlightenment, specifically among the groups that have achieved something in society. We need to discuss it at length here. What the author tries to say it, that meritocracy fosters a sense of entitlement. First of thing, that yes, we have some talent, we have some skill, we have some capability, so we are different from the other sections of the society. Next, it fosters a sense of what is called as relative deprivation. Relative deprivation, how? Basically the societies or the communities or the groups that have left behind, those who had less talent, less capability or the less skills, they will remain backward. Whereas the individuals or the groups or the communities or the societies that have progressed or achieved something, they will gain some sense of what is called as superiority. So that is what is not good for our society. Next, he basically, what the author tries to state is, he utilizes other various theoretical perspectives such as structuralism and post-structuralism. Through these theoretical perspectives, he states that we need to understand, first of all, the concept of merit. He states that merit is not an objective but a subjective concept. We need to understand who has defined merit, what is the criteria for defining the merit, and in criticism of this, he states that it is actually the people who are powerful, who are privileged, who have resources. They are the ones who have defined merit. They have the ones who have defined the standards or the framework for criterion, basically what is merit or what are the standards of merit, what will be considered as a merit. It is essentially these groups basically that have determined that particular concept, and that is why he further states that, just give me a second, see here, he again utilizes the school of Frankfurt, views of Frankfurt school, where he states that meritocracy will make power dynamics and will bring more inequalities in society, first of all. Then he states that it will legitimize the status of elite under the guise of fairness and neutrality. What the author tries to say here is that the individuals who have gained power, who have basically gained control of the authoritative position in the society, it is essentially elite, basically the elite ruling minority that has the power to various resources in the society, that actually controls the power, and merit will become as a new foundation for legitimizing their power or legitimizing their control upon the society, because they will claim that we have skill, we have talent, and that is why we are on the authoritative position, or we have resources or power and privileges in the society. So it will be used as a new criteria. Earlier, other foundations were used by the ruling minorities. For example, divine power is there, God origin theory of the kings is there. That was basically utilized to gain the control of the society or the resources. Here basically states that now as the society has shifted from those ascribed status towards the meritocracy, now ruling elite will utilize this foundation to legitimize their rule, stating that it is very much fair and it is very much neutral. Further, the article C states that, just give me a second, he defines that what is merit, basically what is the standard or what is the criteria of merit that we have already discussed, then suggesting that it is inherently a subjective idea and it can create inequalities in society. But again, he uses the views of some another, what we say, thinker named as, just give me a second, here is, that is named as Wooldridge. He states that basically you should not be as much dismissive of the concept of what is called as meritocracy. He in fact states that it is a very much neutral and fair idea. How meritocracy, first of all, we need to understand, is a neutral and fair idea, because he states that merit or talent or skill, it can be ingrained through what is called as education. No doubt, basically the people who are from ruling minority or who have access to resources, power and privileges, they have access to better education. But if we devolve education to the lower section of the society, then they can also build the skills and they can also improve their status in the society. So as such, basically meritocracy is a fair idea because it also provides some sort of opportunity to the lower section of the society. And how they will gain the opportunity? It will be if we will devolve education, or if we will provide accessibility and quality education to the lower section of the society. Next, he states that, see, we have already discussed, now we need to understand what we have covered so far. We have covered so far is the mechanism of social stratification in the society, how societies are divided into various groups or various communities, essentially called as who have power, and there are groups who are denied the power. So author, until now, he stated that earlier ascribed status were used to divide the societies into various sections. Now with the emerging of modern society, we have developed a new concept that is called as meritocracy. It is under the guise of meritocracy that ruling elite has legitimized its new rule, calling it fair, calling it legal, calling it basically on the basis of talent or basis of skill. But why he is criticizing it? Because merit is defined by those basically who control the society. It is according to their perspective, according to their standard, according to their framework, that it is decided that who which of the particular individual has merit and which of the particular individual has not merit. Next, he uses the concept of Woolridge basically to state that meritocracies and such are not a totally biased idea, but it is a fair idea. How? No doubt basically it provides what we say some sort of privilege resource or facilities to the elite section of the society, but if we will provide access to education to the lower section of the society, then they can also improve their position in the society. Now here is where basically the author introduces the concept of artificial intelligence, linking it with the idea of artificial intelligence. He states that artificial intelligence has created complexity to the already existing idea of meritocracy. Now we need to understand what is AI. We already know that AI is a machine program where it is able to perform the tasks that are considered intelligent by the humans or that could be solved quickly by the humans. So AI uses to replicate those human processes. Now the article states that, see here, just give me a second. See what the article states here. See, he states that how AI can be a disruptive force with respect to the concept of social stratification. We have already discussed. He states that it already complexes the idea of meritocracy, but he also states it how it complexes the idea of meritocracy. He gives it 6 particular reasons in this regard. So the first reason is, he states that AI questions the basis of human merit. How it questions the idea of human merit? Because earlier there could be some problem solving tasks or some basic problems that could be faced by the human section of the society, and they were solved by the individuals who were called intelligent or who had particular talent or skill to solve that problem or to provide a solution to that particular problem. But AI totally demolishes this concept. How? Because it also aims to perform the majority of tasks which were previously deemed as requiring human intelligence. But now AI eliminates the concept of human intelligence. Any individual, whether that particular individual is not intelligent, whether that particular individual has no talent, whether that individual has no skill, but he or she can still provide a solution to those problems, can create different alternatives for that problems. How? Through the use of what is called as artificial intelligence. So the idea of dividing a society on the basis of merit faces a backlash. This is from where basically he creates a second dimension to it. Second dimension is, he states that the advent of AI challenges the traditional notion of individual merit by prioritizing access to technology. Individuals which have access to AI tools gain a significant advantage, not due to their personal abilities, because of the enhanced capabilities of these tools. Now he states that to divide the society, to create different sections of the society, who is privileged and who is less privileged, it is not on the basis of your personal capabilities. Personal capabilities again means the capability or talent or the particular skill that you have to perform a particular task, but it is no longer of as significance as it was earlier in the traditional society, because with the emergence of technocrat society, all you need is access to technology. Technology here means that is artificial intelligence. If you have access to artificial intelligence, then individual merit does not matter. It is only that what that matters is basically your access to particular technological tools through the usage of which you can create or you can solve different problems that require high level of human intelligence. So individual merit again faces a backset because of the idea of artificial intelligence. Now in third point, the author states that AI systems are trained on historical data that can perpetuate and even exaggerate existing biases and data, for example, promoting discriminatory practices such as in hiring, law enforcement, lending. We have already discussed this concept of artificial intelligence, that artificial intelligence in itself can create new form of social stratification. How? Because all the answers that are provided by it, they are on the basis of data that is processed into the AI, and this data can promote discrimination against the particular section of the society on the basis of race, on the basis of religion, on the basis of region, on the basis of language, and it can be used to exclude certain sections of society from the social participation. That is the third point. Now in fourth point, the author states that recently he shares a research study just give me a second. In what context? That is in the context of health sector. He states that a particular research study was done by some group where AI tool can predict pancreatic cancer in a patient 3 years before radiologists can make such a diagnosis, highlighting the distinguish between the humans and the AI, basically how AI is such an advanced system that particular diagnosis that took 3 years to be done by the radiologists, it was done on the instant spot by the AI tool that was particularly employed in this research group. Next, regardless of those, basically he tries to highlight that what will be the impact of this. He states that AI would create a workforce towards high skill, high wage jobs, which will lead to socio-economic disparities as individuals without access to high level of education and training are pushed to the lower wages. He states that individuals will need to up their level, will need to upgrade their skills to compete with the AI. So for that context, it will increase the importance of higher level education, specialized skills, and the individuals with such sort of skills, such sort of advancement, such sort of intelligence will have a higher status in the society. They will be getting a higher wage, whereas the lower or the entry level tasks that will be replaced by the AI will get low status and low jobs. In fact, what we can state that is decreasing their standard of living. So it will increase the socio-economic disparities on the basis of skill set also. Next, in fifth point, the author states that what we also need to be concerned about is the opaque nature of AI algorithms that is basically concentrated with the MNCs, large corporates. They have access to volumes of data that is collected from the daily usage of technological apps, and this data is monetized by them in a specific form to create a specific pattern. And the biggest concern is we do not know any algorithm process with respect to AI, essentially meaning that we do not know how AI functions. There is a opacity with respect to the functioning of the AI systems. As algorithms are not in public domain, they are basically with the huge giant corporations that control AI processes. In this context, he states that AI systems can obscure those criteria, making it difficult for individuals to know how to advance or challenge decisions made by AI, thus eroding the meritocratic ideal. He states here that meritocracy will be eroded by AI because whatever will be the basically result or the decision or the output that will be produced by the AI, it could not be challenged. Why? Because we do not know how AI functions. What was the basis for the AI basically to perform such a to perform a particular action, to take a particular decision in a particular manner, because as such there is no data or no information that is available upon the algorithm process that is used by the AI. He even uses a particular term here that is called as black box because of its opaque nature, and the data that is controlled by what we say is giant corporations, MNCs, basically they are very much reluctant to reveal the functioning processes in the public domain, so they can create their own hegemony and their own dominance with respect to such systems. And at last, the author states that at the organizational level, AI's power lie in data and algorithm processes. Then volumes of data, that basically there is the particular term the individual uses here is, we can discuss it, that is data hegemony. So what is data hegemony? He states that it means that these entities can set the standards for what constitute merit in the digital world. What he is trying to state is basically earlier from ascribed status we evolved towards meritocracy. Now meritocracy will be replaced by what is called as AI. In the digital world, basically we need to define in new terms what is merit. AI will define it, what is merit, and because the huge corporations or the giant technocratic companies control the AI systems, it will be them who will define what is merit. It will become a totally subjective idea for their benefit, for their self-interest. That is what he's stating that. So in the end, the author states that recalibrating meritocracy in the face of AI advance demands a sophisticated understanding of the interplay between the technology and social structure. In simplistic terms, the author tries to state that we need to understand the relation of the AI, its application and its impact on the various communities, on the society as a whole, upon the individual as a whole, upon the social structure, how it can create new layers of basically divisions within the society, and how it can remove the existing layers of division within the society. We need to understand this interplay so that AI can be used for human welfare. So in nutshell, what we have discussed is, just in brief I will be telling you that we started with social stratification. What was the basis of division in the society? We told that it was based on the ascribed status, means by birth. From here we evolved towards what is called as meritocracy, but he uses various philosophers, various thinkers, various theoretical strands to criticize the idea of meritocracy. Why? Because it promotes entitlement, it promotes relative deprivation between the groups who have advanced and who have remained backward. Then he also states that it will be used as a mechanism or tool to legitimize their rule. On the basis of that, we have skill, we have talent. That is why it is our right to control the resources of the society. Then he further states that we need to understand that merit is not an objective idea, but a subjective idea. It is actually defined by someone, and it is defined by the elite groups of the society according to their preferences, according to their own self-interests. So then he again uses the ideas of Woolridge to state that meritocracy is not a bad idea. It is a fair concept. Why? Because merit or skill can be acquired through education. No doubt, elite system of the society has access to good skills, good educational systems. But if we can provide access of education to lower sections of society, then they can also basically move upward. They can also change their position in the society. Then he interlinks idea of artificial intelligence and social stratification, stating that it adds to a more complexity to the already existing system of meritocracy. How? Because earlier the tasks that were done by the individuals stating that they have merit means some sort of particular skill, particular talent to perform a particular task. Now this idea has become redundant, because now these tasks, particular tasks that require particular skill, they can be performed by what is called as AI. So in this context, it is not your personal skill that matters. What matters is your access to what is called as technology. With access to proper tools, you can also compete with the individuals who have particular talent, particular skill. So individual merit takes a back seat in this regard. Further, he states that artificial intelligence has the capability to increase what is called as socio-economic disparity, because it will create a gap between highly skilled and what is called as low skilled individuals in the form of wage, in the form of what is called as social status. Then he also highlights some concerns with respect to what is upon the use of AI as well as functioning of AI. How? He states that as such, algorithms of AI, they are not in public domain. They are controlled by what is called as giant corporations, or you can say MNCs. So it will be them who will be ruling the society. Again, he states that these MNCs control volumes of data, and on the basis of this data, they can develop specific patterns that are aligned for their self-interest. And because people do not have any information how these AIs work, you cannot challenge any decision or any basically judgment that is passed by the AI systems. So in this context, he is highlighting that. Again, in the end, he states that we need to understand the interlinkage of AI or the impact of AI on your society, upon individuals, how these are correlated things, and to ensure that it works for human welfare, we need to understand effectively the functioning of AI system so that it does not create a new layer of what is called as social stratification or division in the society. So that is what the article was trying to say. It can be very much helpful for your essay purposes. So that will be all for today. Thank you.